From placing your cards wrong to overcommitting on offense, here are 10 of the biggest mistakes Clash Royale players make and how to fix them. Starting with number 1, and that is placing a heavy unit at the back in the early game. If you place a big tank behind your king tower in single elixir, you are put in an immediate disadvantage and it's a free invite for your opponent to punish you on the other side. If they do push in the opposite lane, you will have no elixir and will probably lose your tower. Only place your big unit if you are up on elixir or if your opponent doesn't have any punishing cards in cycle. Or you can play passive and defend. When double elixir hits, then you can place your tank at the back to start a push. The second thing you are doing wrong is using the wrong tower troop for your deck. There are 4 tower troops in Clash Royale, and each one is good in its own situation. Using the wrong tower troop for your deck can put you in a significant disadvantage in many interactions. So here is a quick summary of the tower troops. The Royal Chef levels cards up, which makes it good in beatdown decks, because it will give your big tank a lot of health and damage. The Cannoneer does high damage but has slow hit speed, making it bad against swarms but good against tanks. This is good in cycle or bait decks since it deals the damage for them. The Danger Duchess is good against swarms but bad against tanks, so use it bridge spam and control decks. And lastly, the Princess Tower isn't good in any specific archetype, but it's good everywhere, so make sure to equip the correct tower troop to suit your deck. The third thing you are doing wrong is not utilizing your skeletons. When most players see a mini P.E.K.K.A. or a bandit, they usually panic and place their skeletons right on top of it. If you do this, the mini P.E.K.K.A. or bandit clean up the skeletons and still get on your tower. Instead, use these placements to fully counter both and take 0 damage. This tip also works for so many single target cards, and even if the skeletons don't fully counter them, it will save you a lot of damage. The next mistake players make is over-committing on defense. I see so many players panic when they have a big push coming at them and drop every card they can, hoping it will stop it. This is a recipe for disaster, and most of the time you will have just wasted all your elixir and your tower will be gone. Instead, you need to calculate how you are going to defend. Most pushes in Clash Royale rely on one big unit tanking for the supporting cards. If you can separate, distract, or even kill the supporting cards, the tank will be all alone and you can easily kill it. So how can you apply this? Well, all you need is tank or a distraction unit to kite supporting troops and soak up hits. Then use your damage dealer to deal with the big tank. Once the tank is gone, you can clean up the supporting cards with ease. This strategy will save you a lot of elixir, and it will actually counter the push. Mistake number 5 is similar to the previous one, and it is overcommitting on offense. There is no worse thing than spending your entire elixir bank on offense, then watching it get countered easily, and then watching the counter push take your tower. This is probably the biggest mistake mid-ladder players make. They put their wizard, skeleton army, or witch all behind their mega knight, only for it to be countered by a fireball and a Valkyrie. If you do want to spam units, at least do it across both lanes, so opponents can't get spell value, and it makes it harder to deal with. It will also be harder for your opponents to build a meaningful counter push, giving you a 2 birds 1 stone situation. The next big mistake players make is mismanaging elixir. An unbelievable number of players use more elixir than they have to, just to defend a cheap unit. For example, if a mini P.E.K.K.A. is coming at them, a lot of players will use a Mega Knight, Prince, or something expensive just to counter a mini P.E.K.K.A. Not only is this putting you in a big elixir disadvantage, but you have just also used your big unit unnecessarily. Instead, try and use the least amount of elixir as possible, so you can be in an elixir advantage. This can be with skeletons or another cheap card. It's sometimes worth taking a hit, just so you can be up on elixir to build your push. The next mistake players make is not surrounding splash units with your swarms. For example, if a bowler is coming at you, a lot of players will put their guards all to one side of the bowler, letting its splash damage kill them in just 2 shots. But if you split the guards around the bowler, it can only target 1 guard at a time and you will defend easily while getting a positive elixir trade. This tip works for most splash cards in the game like Royal Ghost, Hunter, and Executioner. You can also use this tip with skeletons or goblins, so thank me later. Mistake number 8 is not knowing how to counter win conditions. Win conditions are probably the most important cards in any deck. They deal the damage, take towers, and ultimately win you the game. So if you can learn how to counter each win condition, you will have a massive advantage in every game. And you also want to try and counter them for a positive elixir trade so it gives you an advantage and you can build a counter push. Just simply knowing which tile to place your cannon or when to use your tornado will be enough. So keep practicing with the cards in your deck, and over time your skill at countering win conditions will improve. The next mistake players make is not tracking the opponent's cycle. This is something all players should be doing, and I'm so surprised that not more people are doing this. The concept is simple. You just need to know what cards your opponent has in cycle so you know when to push. For example, if their opponent plays their cannon, you know that they are 4 cards away from getting back to their cannon. With this knowledge, you can push with your Go Rider when the cannon is out of cycle to get guaranteed damage. You don't need to know which cards your opponent has at all times, but having a general idea will boost your chances of winning the match. And mistake number 10 is when players keep switching decks. So many players get caught up in the meta and they are always trying to upgrade the buffed cards and the most broken decks. But the truth is, constantly switching decks will make it harder to upgrade cards, leaving you against players with way higher level cards than you, resulting in you losing games and tilting trophies. Instead, you should pick one deck to play and hyper-focus all of your resources into it. Some of the most consistent decks are Royal Recruits, Hog Rider Earthquake, Splash Yard, Lava Hound Balloon, and Royal Giant. Picking just one of these decks and mastering it will not only win you more games, but also make you a better player. A bonus mistake is when you use the wrong deck for your arena, so click here to see the best deck for every arena in Clash Royale.